give a suggestion first. If you are thinking about any application to bring in this robot to any religious identity, I will be your advisor to give you the information about application. How can be a good imam? My first question, I did receive in the office hundreds of calls, I believe coming from a machine, not from a human being. Because I can notice the voice from India, Pakistan, I trouble. Right away I hang up. Is that robot going to get upset with me? No, seriously, I'm not joking, because I get the feeling they want to sell something. When I hear not a human being, hang up, because I have something else to do. Is that a wise, polite thing to do or no?
Well, so that's a very good application of machine learning, right? So you've got different people calling you up, trying to sell you stuff. It could be anything, right? So do not call.gov. I get a lot of people calling me up, and as soon as I see there's something coming up in the Comcast, I say to my wife, don't even bother. Let's have our dinner. But yeah, it's a very, very good use case. I don't know how far most of these applications are from voice recognition, but from an email perspective, we can see a lot of this around spam email, right? So spam email recognizing inbound mails coming in from people that most of these algorithms are already in place in some of these machine learning, but how it's enabled for voice recognition, I don't know how far that market's got to, but that's a very good use case for that. And maybe that is the next new space in terms of voice recognition coming in and actually rejecting some of these kind of calls, or have a workflow if a call comes in from, depending on the voice that's been interpreted and how they start their speech, you could divert it off to an exception queue or ignore the call totally. But yeah, that is a good idea of how robotics could be used in a voice controlled environment.
The second question, my son in your age, he advised me that my son in your age, he advised me that you'll never ever open any email, including from Patel, my president, if you don't know the name of the person and the figure. Don't open any email you are not familiar with the name. Is that good to ignore all those emails or to open?
Oh, ignore it. I'll give you an example right now. My daughter's 13, my son is 10. I had a phone call from school. My son apparently opened up an email that he got internally at school, and it was quite a bad picture that was put on. He innocently opened up an email, double-clicked on a link, and then he didn't see anything that happened, but an obscene picture was put onto his desktop. And I got a call from the head principal saying that your son's not in trouble, but this is what's happened, and they think that his email account had got hit. What I advise my son, this is part of, as a father for my son, and as well as for my daughter, the online world is now opened up to a very bad place for online predators, for example. So I've told my son and daughter what your son has advised you, that if you do not recognize an email from the person you don't recognize, delete it. Do not, even today when I get these silly headlines, Russian this, kill this, delete. But the best advice your son has given me. I've given that same advice to my children.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think I can add into this. The best way is, even in your organization, if you don't expect the email from a person, delete.
Oh yeah, without
because that's happening. This crypto back.
Well, even the Gmail account password.
Many speakers today. Let them speak.
One thing about Democrats, they lost the election because John Podesta's email was hacked in the same way. John Podesta was Clinton's election manager, and he opened a link which said Google is requesting you to change the password because the account is hacked. So he thought, oh, it's my account is hacked, I have to change the password. He clicked the link. That was actually a malware. It went to Russia and he did a mistake. It's a big mistake. Even people with the high, who are holding the government positions, they don't know that they are not supposed to click this kind of thing. So it's very important to know.
Yeah.
Mic and then we'll bounce back. I'll let Ali guide the mic.
I got the mic.
Yeah, hands are fine.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for your talk, for what the presentation. Actually, I have two questions. One of them has to do with our high school students that we brought in the weekend school senior class here to listen to your presentation. My understanding is that in high school they have courses, electives with regard to robotics and process automation. What kind of advice you have to that students? And please bring your, just talk in their language, not at the very professional high level. And then I have another question at the professional level. I'll let you answer the
Yeah,
question.
so with kids,
Yeah.
so Ali, the reason why Ali had to pick me up today is that my kids actually go to robotic classes in near Bridgewater from 10 to 11 every week. And the reason I bring that up is that my daughter's 13 and my son's 10. So robotics it's not a concept anymore. It's something that's real, and it gets you thinking from an engineering standpoint. So the reason why I introduced my kids very early on to robotics is that, so I got this philosophy with kids. So I'm going to go expand more than robotics, right? But you need discipline from a mental standpoint and focus. So for that, I employ Kung Fu in their life. Not the typical karate thing that you get outside, but Kung Fu. I actually did a lot of research into this. And that's just from a coordination standpoint. But my kids are not cool. They're just like their father, completely clumsy. Right, so I wanted to employ physical, spiritual techniques through Kung Fu to give them that strong base. Now they do tennis for furthering that combination and to give them that sort of focus to move forward in terms of the physical attributes. Now from a thinking standpoint, I wanted to have structured thinking and thinking from a logical standpoint, because robotics it's all logical. It's just there's a sequence of events that happen from the point of from a routine, right? So think of robotics as a routine. You wake up in the morning, you have breakfast at a specific time, you go to school at a specific time, you come home at a specific time, you have homework to do at a specific time, you have your prayer time in between, you have time to spend with parents. So think of that as a complete routine from a structured standpoint. Robotics is pretty much gives you that sort of mindset in terms of a workflow. So when I introduced this to my kids, I wanted my kids to start thinking from a workflow perspective, right? So if I wake up in the morning, breakfast isn't there, breakfast is not there, then I need to do this, right? So if you start thinking on that level, I'm trying to numb it down to a simple sort of an idea of how robotics plays in the common life. Now with work, for example, you'll always have rules and guidelines. So robotics, think of it from a flowchart perspective, and that's the way you should really start thinking of robotics not from the physicalization of attributes. So the class is what my kids do, right? So when I started questioning the class of what they do from a day-to-day standpoint of how they teach their kids, it's not only just construction. So they do mechano sets and all sorts of construction. So they get creative. They actually work with programs to actually teach these robots, how to move around. So one of their programs was that you keep a robot sitting in a fine line and using sensors to move to the left, to the right, and moving around. So I would really sort of focus with kids in this day and age. These robotics classes are very, very popular among schools now, but a lot of these are not part of their core curriculum. They're more either you have to spend money to send them to classes outside of what I've had to do, or I think schools in South Plainfield where I live, they're actually starting these robotic programs as after school activities where you have to start full-time. I hope I've answered your question.
That's great. I mean, one of the challenges for us is to observe and bring young generations here. So I was thinking maybe since you're in that area, maybe we should think about forming a robotic co-op for the kids.
Yeah.
and through that, bringing the kids here, because you got to give them something that they're interested, they hear it in the school, and bring them together. So that's one part. Just that we can talk about this offline. But the other question I have, because I want to give the microphone to other brothers and sisters. The other thing is, I'm myself in the telecom and the internet service providers. The process automation, whether you call it robotics, because right now you sort of, as I understand it, you're going away from the physical aspect of the robotics that the public understand it into the software part of it, which basically nothing more than process automations and workflow automations that we've been doing in telecom, and we are doing that right now. I mean, if you look at the Google, and if you look at Amazon, and so on, they have tremendous amount of experience in there. And right now they're getting into the virtualizations, and so they can instantiate automated processes that you may want to call it robots, and they have a lot of experience there. So looks like your focus is on financial and banking institutions. I was wondering if you're leveraging the experiences that the telecom and the Google-like companies have already gained, and they are providing service right now.
So let me answer. So great question. Sorry, great question. Go back to your first part. You have to make robotics fun for kids.
Oh,
and my kids hate me because they when I get in class, I said, no, it's robotics. It's a robotic club. Because they always worry about getting homework and so forth. So yeah, so it's making it fun. So we can talk about offline about that. But yeah, to your point, you've got to make robotics fun. It's not a class where you're going to get homework and then your kids are not hating you like they had with me anyway. But going back to your second point, what's happened is that I've focused on our bias within financial services, but like I mentioned earlier, it's industry agnostic, right? So robotics is being applied across the whole industry. Now, from a software interpretation, yes, the reason why you have vendors out there is because it's a commoditized product now. Many firms have been using this kind of robotics for a long time. So what's happened is that these firms have seen an idea, let's commoditize it and then sell it to the marketplace, right? So Google have been doing machine learning from, they follow you. If you've done searches, if you've not seen the adverts of like looking at a specific sneaker or something that you're going to buy your wife, it just follows you around, right? So these are all machines that are learning in the background, right? So yes, it's already commoditized, but what's happened is that the world is not ready for BAU 4.0. Right? So when you're looking at BAU 3.0, what they're doing is they're taking robotics that have been used in terms of these scripts and so forth from a typical IT standpoint, and commoditized it, looked at areas for straight-through processing. Instead of doing things on the back end, let's move things to the front end. So what they've done is, to answer your question very quickly, is that this is industry agnostic. This can be applied in any industry, and particularly around operations. That's where the real business value will come into play. But you won't get these robots, remember, are not intelligent robots. These are scripted robots. It's just if then else, right? This is a standard process that happens day to day. Think of it as a utility, right? This is the typical, process. It doesn't change. Let's get a robot to do it, and let's move these people to do other areas. I just hope I answered your question.
Well, we talk offline.
Yeah, more than happy to. Yeah.
I can shout. Assalamu alaikum. We know in machine learning, the more data and cases you have, the better the accuracy.
Correct.
For the company that is offering their product for free,
Yeah.
do they use machine learning?
Yeah, so what they've done is, this is how they entice the market. WorkFusion is the company that I work for work with over at DB with others. Now they're giving their RPA component for free, which is a simple robotics processing if then else, right? So that's how they're going to attract customers to come to them versus the the other platforms. And the reason why I said they're taking a very big risk is if they fail, if it's very buggy and it's not very stable, then their reputation goes on the line.
Don't you think that they are trying to learn from customer cases so that they can improve their product?
Well, they will do. I mean, they've given us access to their beta, right? So what they will do is they'll give you access to their beta binaries, and they'll have you test it, and then they'll report in, so they make the platform a lot more stable. Remember, robotics is to help take cost takeout. So the moment free is mentioned, the software platform, they'll look at this platform very, very closely. But to extend from your capabilities for machine learning, what they're doing is that they're going to try and attract customers to come in to employ, give their RPA component as a teaser for the greater crown jewel for their machine learning, right? So what they're planning to do is, and this is from my understanding, talking to their strategy head, is that we want to get people onto our platform straight away, right? So how do you do it for the mass market where you're playing catch up? You give RPA out, and so it's all about volume, right? So if you've got 10 customers today, by end of 2017 they may end up with a few thousand because they've given it away for free. But then the next part of the evolution from RPA is smart robots, which is machine learning. Now, going back to your point earlier, the more data you provide those models, the more accurate and predictive these machines can get. So we took 2,000 notifications for this loan example. We first started with 500 machines. We saw the machines get smarter and smarter and smarter. The more historical data you give, the smarter the machine becomes, and it's all based on historical data. Exactly to your point.
So when you say smarter, it means that the robot can learn a new unpredicted process by itself?
Yes. So different permutation or combination of an inbound message or a phone call coming in, right? It will find something it doesn't recognize, right? And then put it into a queue where the machine doesn't recognize it, right? So it'll say that it has 50% of what I understand, but I don't want to push it onto the next process because I want someone to look at it first as a four eyes check to make sure it's not a dodgy phone call or it's something that could cause a problem. So you remember, if you have a notification coming in and it goes straight through, there's financial implications that can come into play, right? So whether it's a statement or a trade coming out, just talking hypothetically coming in, you want to make sure that if the machine doesn't have the full capability of if it's not 100% complete in its algorithm, they'll put it to a queue for someone to look at and then look at it and then push it through. And when it pushes it through, the machine will learn from that, saying that, well, this is what humans saw, and the machine will learn that if I get something else like that again, I can push it through. So the more of these kind of transactions that come through, the more the machine will learn with human interaction. And you'll never get 100%. So anyone that tells you 100%, they're lying. So accuracy. Anyway, next.
A couple of questions. Number one, where is the on-ramp for somebody who's not in the RPA, both for experienced people and for the younger crowd?
Yeah.
Who are new?
So the way I would tackle this, and I've had the same questions asked me. They were asking me what am I doing, from a professional standpoint. The way you can get engaged with someone and start learning about this is on YouTube. There are unbelievable amount of videos for robot process automation. Robotic process automation is the industry term that's used. It's not a term that EY made up for. It's actually the term that's used in the marketplace. So RPA, which stands for Robotic Process Automation, is the industry term that the market's using. Gartner, all of the big agencies out there that do analytics on this, that's the industry term that's been coined. So the way I would start it is look at these videos on YouTube. I'm trying to dig some of these out, and I'll provide to Ali and Abid to share with the young community. Also, go to each of these vendors' websites, because each of these vendor websites is the way I started. You look at their use cases, you see what the marketing material that's behind it, and Google has been the power of a lot of my learning, because I've only been doing robotics for the last 9 months. So that's where I would start from becoming smart and savvy in terms of the concept. Because the moment you can start talking about robotics, you have to do it self-learning, and that's how I do it, right? Why didn't teach me? I taught myself, and now I'm teaching people within the Big Four, and here I am today. So the way I would start there is as soon as you get that sort of adaptation in, you can actually start sending some of the apply for jobs to these specific vendors. Get training courses in these specific vendors, because I'm telling you now, we have a shortage right now at EY and other Big Four that we can't find people with Blue Prism skills, we can't find people with open span skills fast enough because. Sorry, go ahead.
The other question, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
second question. You mentioned that the RPA sits, this body sits between the
PPM.
people operations or perhaps somewhat some processes there and the other applications, the business application,
Yep.
existing business application. What is that, that process,
Well,
that workflow?
So the way it would work is that these business applications don't disappear. They stay as business as usual. All it is that this program really sort of like connects to these nodes, should we say, within the equation. So it's kind of hard without showing the actual the platform itself. But think of it purely from a workflow perspective, right? Where you're joined from a Visio diagram perspective. The easiest way to describe it is that the first box would represent, say, Outlook, right? Email comes in. Right, and then the actions in that property, you double click on that box. You know, if you get an Outlook message with subject line from this person, typically structured emails that come in, they have an email box that will go to, as well as a subject line. Open up this email and then do the subsequent tasks from there.
And open source, I'm sorry, sorry about that. Open source, is there much open source on this?
Yes, there is. Actually, WorkFusion is all based off of open source. Yeah, WorkFusion is. Yeah. So
therefore free.
Hence, some of their capabilities are for free, but they open up for development. So, like I mentioned, a lot of these platforms are very configurable for the business user. But one downside I give for WorkFusion, and a little bit slightly on Automation Anywhere, that if you want to do some, fantastic sort of creativity, you need Java programming skills, right? So you need to go beyond. You can build functionality beyond the tool itself, where you really need those technical skills to come into play. So, depending on how your process is, remember, each bank, loan operations or mortgage operations from one bank to another is going to be the same, but the keystrokes are going to be different. Applications are going to be different. You'll never be able to lift and shift a complete, set of processing you do up from one place to another. It's always going to be different. So,
can we take the last question?
yes.
I'm in healthcare, back-end processing, data center. But have you seen RPA being implemented in healthcare? Either back-end, front-end, registration, medical records coding, and has it been successful? Have you seen it implemented in those areas?
So medical coding is a very good area of applications of RPA. Unfortunately, I'm only fixed on financial services, but I've seen use cases because I've read. And it's just with this, it's just more research and understanding where the success and failures, lessons learned from where this is coming. But within the healthcare industry, it's very structured in terms of the bills that come in, the notifications that you get are very structured. So think of it from a very structured standpoint. So if you want to bring robotics into your firm, it would be great for you because this gives you another area of expertise. And you can go to, I know some people have actually gone and made appointments with people they've never met before just to talk about robotics and spark internal interest. And they've actually been elevated further up the food chain, getting away from the BAU role in terms of IT and doing more of the strategic work. And it's great for you because once you become savvy in this area and you can talk to it, you can internally you can have those conversations, and then you can become that sort of subject matter expert within your firm and bring in the rest of the ecosystem under you. So, but yeah, any structured process you can apply robotics.
I have a similar question on the. Is there any online resource where you can look at all the use cases in different industries?
So each website, each of these vendors have use cases. And the reason they give those use cases is because they need to attract. We're still in the adoption phase. We're completely still in the adoption phase right now. And it's going to be accelerated. Sorry.
Yeah, have you seen any application in money laundering area? Because
Yes, AML, KYC. We have Citigroup are using WorkFusion and Automation Anywhere for KYC and anti-money laundering. Perfect use cases for robotics.
One last follow-up.
I'm still not able to convince myself
Yeah.
how the robotics still replace. Like for example, we talked about the typical automation already in place. And where we are written step 1, 2, 3, all these scripts, right? So
Yeah.
automation, there are a lot of softwares are there. That's already doing that job. Are you saying that robotics should replace these, or are you saying that robotics is the
No. So, like I said, robots there's a time and a place where robots will be used.
okay?
Standard traditional, so it's not a migration from traditional automation. It's basically replacing what humans are doing today. Okay, so think of it in that perspective. Don't think it from an IT perspective, because traditional automation is already in play. You have your auto assist jobs, you have your trigger points. It's not there to replace that. It's for more replacing the operational standpoint, where I'm HR person, someone comes into the firm, I'm doing onboarding, KYC, anti-laundering. These business functions are already BAU today, are the ones that are being targeted for automation. That's the lens that you should take.
But that automation software is also already there. That's what I'm not able to know. Like, for example, you give the HR onboarding, correct?
Yeah.
In many companies already have the online. So where whoever is joining, they go online, they submit the information, everything.
Look at it from a data entry standpoint, right? So once a form's been filled for like KYC, right? So the forms comes in, it's very structured.
Assalamu alaikum. I believe we are true Muslims. Say takbir. I believe we are true Muslims. Say takbir. I believe we are true Muslims. Say takbir. Now why? Do you have any doubt about Islam? No. But imagine if you are sitting in one of the American companies, and my son Muhammad told me this. Dad, I went to Las Vegas. 6,000 people were on the floor. When the speaker started talking, nobody interrupted him till the first person have the question and we go to the second one. Yes or no? Why we are jumping from one brother to another without the permission from the man sitting there? That is the tradition of Muslims. Yes, we cut off every speaker. I think we are over time. They have to finish it. Try to finish in 2 minutes. No more questions. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Sorry, I want to answer as many as I can. I love helping. It's my. I'm going to take one of this.
Do you see any backlash against process automation as we now see against outsourcing, which also created a lot of cost benefit?
So, yes.
Both of them basically result in a loss of job for the human population.
So this founder they've elected as president is talking about bringing jobs back. He doesn't seem to understand there's a bigger movement with robotics, but that's a different story. But very much to your point, a lot of the clients I'm engaged with right now, it's very, very sensitive. I'm not one of those people that like taking jobs away from people. I like creativity, but unfortunately with creativity, there has to be some sort of sacrifice. When I was over at North Carolina for a bank, I was in the operations group. There was about 50 people in this group, and I kid you not, we went in with an angle of, we could probably get rid of 25 kids that come out from these great colleges through process automation. And when you're having these conversations, so imagine when I sat with these kids, I want to know what you're doing day to day. We were in suits, they're dressed in jeans and whatnot. Like, so what are you doing? I'm hearing rumors of robotics, so are you here to see what we're doing and get rid of us? And it's a very sensitive area. So the backslash is not getting prevalent, but it's getting people scared. Again, if you're looking at the people at the top, they don't care because their numbers are all based on headcount reduction. But if you're looking at the kids, it's happening, and that's what's driving a lot of it. Like I mentioned, there's multiple dimensions behind robotics, but the key driver, the person that's going to write the signing check, is all based on the fact that I'm going to save money, and that's how they get their bonuses, right? So we see all those can streamline operations, get rid of people, reduce headcount. I'll give an example. My close friend, he's a head of. He's actually my friend's close friend. He's a head of equities trading for Goldman Sachs, and I was out with him one evening. He was like, "I'm sick and tired of writing money to operations." He said, "How much are you writing?" $500 million a year to support Goldman Sachs' trading initiative. So imagine $500 million. If you can save a company $1 billion in any way, any kind of automation, goes a long way for the operations spoke, because the front office pays for the back office. In most of the front office places, whether it can be in any industry, right? Whoever's making